everyone, and welcome back to my channel Backroad with Ankur. Whether you are building dynamic effect, crafting APIs, or just exploring the world of modern web development, you are in the right place. Today, we are diving into one of the most powerful features of Next.js, which we call catch-all segment. If you were wondered how to handle complex URL structure dynamically or how to build a flexible routing system that adapt to user input, this video is for you. Catch-all segment are the game changer in Next.js, and by the end of this tutorial, you will have a clear understanding of how they work and how to use them effectively in your project. So grab your favorite beverage, open your code editor, and let's get started. So here, here for this, for building a cache or segment, we have scenario number 6, in which if you suppose you have a docs URL where you have different features and concepts inside that. Here you can see that we have a URL like localhost 3000/doc feature 1 concept term, and each feature has 5 concepts in it. Each feature has 5 concepts, so we have 5 features for 525 almost route for each and everything. So here you can see if we go for routing purpose like localhost 3000/docs/feature 1 and concept 1, and if we move on to, and each feature has 5 concepts, so we have to go by different URL like localhost 3000/docs/feature 1/concept 2. And if we move on to the feature 2, then the URL for that feature 2 will be like that localhost 3000/docs and /feature 2 and concept 1. And for feature 2 and it is not feature 1, it is feature 2. By mistake, I have written at feature 1, so take it as feature 2 /concept 1. The problem is that if suppose you have 20 concepts in each feature, then 400 route will be we need to build it. So here you can see if we have 20 features and each feature has 20 concepts, so they will be 400 routes. Okay, so for if we keep we can solve this problem with the help of dynamic routing. So we create a folder with the concept ID which will handle all the all the ID or related to the concept, so it will decrease to 20. Now if we also again make the features of 1 to ID, if we also make the feature ID at dynamic routing, then we will have the 1 concept. But the problem is that if suppose in the future we have sub again nested route in that, like for example you have local 3000/docs/feature/concept/example, then how these things will be managed? Otherwise we have to add or more code on this in order to integrate things. So here the catch-all segment works. So let's move on to the Visual Studio Code and see how this catch-all segment will be worked in Next.js. Now, here you can see that we have reached out to Visual Studio Code. In this, you have already known that we have already using this particular routing demo example in the previous tutorial series. So now, let's set up our route catch-all segment to this. For this, we can create a new folder with the name docs inside the app folder. So we select the app folder. We can click over here and we can create docs over here. Inside that, in order to capture the catch-all segment, we have to create a new folder with the square bracket. We denote a dynamic routing and we use a type 3 dot to it and we type it as slug. Okay, and inside that we can create a page with the page.tsx, which while we are creating in each and every routing which we are developing. So inside that we can create a function for the docs route. So we can type it over here and we can return like h1 tag to it like docs page. Okay, and we can save it. Now let's run this particular example to it and see whether the routing will work or not. So for this we need to restart our server and npm run dev, and it is and now it is working. After that we can go to the browser and see that the catch-all segment inside that will be handled by this will be coming in on the doc page. Okay, so here it is starting close to 3000. Okay, after that we can type it docs because it contains the docs one, and we can type it and press it same page and see how this routing works. So now here you can see the docs page will be visible to you over here. So here you can see that the docs page, whether you write anything after docs, because it is routing all, because the route page, this page.tsx route the docs, saying the URL in the docs will be redirected to whether the other route will be anything else. So if we type like for constructor, it will drop the same page. So now let's see how we can handle this particular catch-all segment with the help of code in the. Now let's move on to our Visual Studio Code. So here we can update our code with related to the, so that we can handle all the URL segment which are coming to the our application. So in this we can handle the parameter, because the URL will be accessed with the help of parameter over here. Now in this parameter, it is the same. We have the product, we have the slug, which is of type string array, So we don't use the promise, because now the promise is not mandated to add over here. After that, we can create a new, we can destructure that particular thing like slug from the params. Okay. Now after that, we can check number of things like if return, if slug dot length if select dot length equal to 2. Okay, so we can write what things we need to return. So we write it in the return statement over here, and so we can move it over here. We can type it. We can return over here, like we can pass it and add the bracket over to it. We can pass the bracket to it, and inside that we can pass bracket to it, and inside that we can pass that viewing docs for feature 1. So we can type viewing docs for feature. We can partage as slug bracket of 0, because it is of type array, and slug or slug, because we have taken the slug as a array of string over here, and concept, and we can also type the slug element over here. Okay, inside that, this is for the condition when the length of slug is equal to 2. Okay, after that, if it is not equal to 2, then what are the condition we need to write it over here? 12 if we need to check that it's slug dot length is equal to 1. Okay, if it is equal to 1, then what we have to return? We have to return the h1 tag. In fact, we can write it as viewing docs for feature. Doc for feature. Don't use feature. We use the feature for it. We can use feature for it, and feature, and we type the slug of 0 index. Slug of 0 index to it. Okay, now our URL segment are ready to render on the home page. So working. Let's move on to the browser part. Concept 1. Here you can see that we can find the docs feature 1, concept 1. So here you can, if we have the slug length of 1, so suppose we have the feature 1 only. So I done some mistakes. We don't want the dollar tag over here. So now it is working fine. So here you can see the localhost 37 slide docs feature 1. So viewing docs for feature 1. Okay. After that, feature 1. Or feature for feature 1 and concept 1. We don't want feature over here. We don't want concept over here. So we need to type is at await. I think we need to write it 18 over to it. Not working fine, because actually the params are the promise, and so we need to in order to resolve the promise, we need the await method over here and async function. Now it is working fine. So here you can see when we visit the localhost 3000 docs server feature 1. So viewing docs for feature 1, and if we write the concept 1 over here, so here viewing docs for feature 1 and concept 1. If we write the concept 2 type here, then viewing docs for feature 1 and concept 1. So here I think you are able to understand how the URI, how the catch-all segment works, and how we handled all the URL segment of this part in this Next.js application. Now here you can see that your routing is working fine. Now need to show one thing to you. Now let's move on to the browser to it. Now here you can see that one you don't have any flag. For example, suppose you are visiting logo 37 flat docs to it. Now what are the, so here you can see the 404 error which is showing. So you want the same text which is you need the same text which is for viewing, for visual docs or for viewing docs or for the docs page. So what we have to do? So you have to return. First of all, you have to return some statement to it like h1 to it, and you can type the docs page to it. Okay, and after that, in order to make it optional, so you can and the same thing you need to do, you need to rename the slug, and you can type it double bracket to it on it outside folder. And once you make it, it make you optional. And after when you log in, after when you visit the docs page, here you can see easily that your docs page is visible. So this is possible only when, because you have typed the double bracket to it. Double bracket make the route optional for it. It is optional. It is optional. That's why it handles that particular docs page. Now I think you are easily able to understand how the catch-all segment works and what are the optional segment used. How the optional segment used in Next. So let's visualize till now what we have done in this video. So here you can see that when you visit the localhost 3000, the app folder and the page.tsx inside that will be activated on that part. After that, once you see that when you visit the routing catch-all segment, here you can see that if you visit the localhost 3000/routing/catch-all segment, then the docs folder along with the flag folder, the catch-all segment folder which is known as flag folder over here, and the page.tsx will be available here. So I hope you can easily understand how the catch-all segment works in Next.js application, and that how the catch-all segment works in Next.js. We learned how double catch-all segment capture all the URL segment in an array, making it perfect for dynamic flexible routing. Plus you can make it optional for even more versatility. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a question or thought in the comment below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.